Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another ShareWise webinar. I would like to introduce Bryan Carr here today, the Managing Director and CEO of RLG, one of Australia's ASX listed companies. He's excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. I just want to thank him for taking his time out of his busy schedule. I just heard he's just come back from China and a few business partnerships over there potentially, and I thought I'd let him take the reins today. How we'll do, I guess it'll operate. Bit of a presentation from Bryan, and then feel free to put in some questions throughout the presentation. Might be able to answer some throughout, but there'll be a main sort of Q&A section at the end where we can go through a few things. You've got Bryan here. He's the man. You can ask him first and foremost, and then we'll go through that at the end. But Bryan, pleasure to have you, and take it away.
Likewise, great to be here, Harry, and it's great to have the opportunity to present the company and give the latest information on what's been happening within the business to sort of your viewers and listeners here.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure they're pretty excited. We had a few people send in some questions beforehand, so I know you've got some points you want to talk about, and I'm sure they're ready to hear what you got to say. So.
Yeah, no, it'd be very good. I'll just share the screen so make sure that everyone can see what we're talking about. So get up the screen now.
That's working.
All right, very good. Yeah, it's just a bit of a preamble there. So for people who don't know about RLG, what we do, we're a digital marketing and e-commerce business. We operate globally. We're headquartered in Australia. We've got a very good team in China. And we're looking at a range of different opportunities to branch out into new markets. We see the expertise and our understanding as being a cross-border commodity. Our platform and our systems are proven. They're quite extensive. We've got a client base across 7 countries. Our sales platforms have sold about $36 million of products. So, we're delivering on our promises, and we see further opportunities for the business. And I wanted to actually give people a bit more of an understanding about that and some of the most recent developments across China and what we're doing there. As I said, the RLG Marketplace is a multi-platform, online, offline product delivery system. So we help brands enter new markets, both online and offline, across that Southeast Asian space. We manage all things that are required to launch and sell a product into a market. That's from everything from your branding, your brand positioning, the legal requirements, various online channel managements, all about the inventory, the logistics, the order fulfillment, customer service. So we're a full end-to-end solution that help brands deliver their products into new markets, and importantly, to be able to grow their sales in those regions. Typically, what we look for is that we're looking to work with brands who are number one in their own domestic market. So they have very good success stories. They clearly have a value proposition for consumers. And by way of an example, the products that we exclusively represent, for example, in the China market, brands that people would be aware of here in Australia. So Remedy Kombucha, so number one kombucha in Australia. Great brand, great product. Fits into that health and wellness space really well. For us to sell that into the Chinese market, once again, that's a growing market and awareness of health and well-being, and we're leveraging that Australian pedigree of Australian products being held in high regard around the world. So that's across the whole of Asia, but globally, Australian products are well regarded. Mini Jumbuck, Australia's number one wool quilt. We are seeing really good, strong demand for that through the China market as well. And other brands you're probably aware of, Hydrolite, and we've got our own brand, VORA, which is in the health and well-being space as well. And Bodhi's the water power drink, so protein water. So all of these things have a similarity. Where we position ourselves is a company that provides and services and sells food, beverages, health and wellness products. And we do that through building out the reputation online and introducing it to sales channels throughout the markets that we enter into as well. Now, some more recent developments. For example, we've been putting a lot of effort and focus into finding the right distribution channels for our products, and also how we align our interests with our distributors to ensure the best outcome for RLG and our shareholders. Most recently, we've appointed a new sales channel, Fuji and Jushi Supply Chain Management Company Limited. The great thing with that is the company themselves said that they wanted to come in as a shareholder as well. So that means that their interests are aligned as a shareholder to help us sell our products into China. And the level of confidence that they have in what they can do and what we do as a company is, you look at that, they paid 113% premium to the share price to actually take up their first equity position in the company. They followed that up very quickly with a first order and delivery of profit. So they've sold $245,000 of RLG sourced product in the first month, and that's delivered us a cash profit of $60,000 in June alone. And we're already working on following orders. So this is the sorts of arrangements we're looking to put in place. We're then seeking to incentivize them further by offering them the ability to and performance rights, which will vest into shares for delivery of profit to RLG. So they take on the responsibility for marketing, the distribution. They place orders with RLG. We provide the products and we realize the profit. Then we recognize that by the issue of shares, and the ratio for every $100,000 of profit that they deliver to RLG for our product sales, then 5.88 million shares will vest. So it's a completely aligned interest. It's certainly beneficial for RLG and our shareholders, and we see this as a model that we can continue to grow on. We also work very closely with them to identify the products and that they're in demand that they would like to sell. We can source those, and then we're increasingly looking at saying, can we start to develop our own branded product for distribution through those networks? Obviously, that maximizes our profit margin. Now, we've also been very closely looking at our business. So we're coming at this from both directions. We've put on very strict cost management at the same time as we're seeking to maximize our profit. So we are being very selective about the types of products and the margins that we are working on and looking to secure. That means that anything that doesn't meet strict margin criteria for us, we've put on hold. So it's not just about a growth strategy, it's about a profit strategy. And the effects of both those profit contributions and the cost reductions will be evident as we report our net operating cash flow in our upcoming quarterly report. Some people may not be aware, but we actually source and sell Australian products, about consumer products, but also raw materials and fresh Australian produce. So we've been progressively selling both of those channels into China. And our most recent transaction actually has the opportunity to bring those two things together. So we recently announced that we were producing and selling beer in China that is sourced and produced from Australian ingredients. So high quality Australian raw materials going to China, being produced in China, and we're also already selling that beer through our distribution channel. So it's the perfect formula of being able to bring in the raw materials from Australia, produced in China, sell into the Chinese market. It leverages the logistics benefits and the established distribution networks already in China. And I said that is already underway, and we have sales orders and payments already received. So that is working very well already. We continue to work very closely with our distribution partners. So we take the feedback from them about the types of products that they're looking for. It presents the opportunity for us to build out those product solutions under our own brand. We do it to service identified demand versus taking a product in and then marketing it from scratch. And it gives us the opportunity to build out a product portfolio that we can sell more broadly across both Australia, China, and then through other regions in the world. It actually allows us to manage our gross margins more closely. And obviously with our channel partners, we can make sure we go into market with the right sort of product mix. One other item that we did just recently announce, and I thought I'd provide a bit more background behind this. I know when we list out city names in China, they probably don't mean a lot to a lot of people. But through the end of July and early August, RLG will be running a series of investor presentations to sophisticated investors through the cities of Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Nanning, Zhengzhou, and Jiangzhou. Now, those names roll off the tongue. What do they actually mean? Interesting enough, I've sort of just set out the populations here, but also the GDP. So if you look at that number, 2.6 billion, you're getting significant GDP, actually 2.6 trillion. So out of interest, that's probably comparable to the Australia's GDP as a total. So this is the sorts of markets that we are marketing and presenting RLG into. So that is to introduce RLG as an investment opportunity for Chinese investors, but also to potential distributors and sales channels for us. And the basis of that is that Australia and its food and produce is held in high regard in China. There's increasing awareness all the time about health and health awareness. There is a growing middle class with growing disposable income, and the space that we're in is food. Food is always in demand. We look at it as an investment vehicle for not just Chinese investors, but hopefully Australian investors as well. Look at it and say, look, RLG provides that diversified investment exposure for food, health, and wellness products into a very significant market underwritten by China, but also the ability to then grow that out into more broadly across Asia. So we'll be holding those through those various cities through the end of July and early August, and also looking to appoint and select appropriate sales and distribution channels for our product portfolio as well. So just to summarize, and then obviously address some of the questions that will be coming through. What we do is that we have a proven e-commerce and sales platform, very focused in that food, beverage, health, and well-being. So products that are in demand and are growth sectors. It's a proven platform. We've delivered sales of $36 million through it so far of product sales. We have all aspects to help companies deliver and our own products to be delivered, which is end-to-end from logistics to import to marketing to sales to distribution to customer support. So it's a complete end-to-end solution that is scalable. And we're also have an expanding range of our own brand products that we can respond to market demand that we see in real time, and we would be looking to progressively respond to that to sell into those markets. Our revenue models build up of stable recurring service fee revenues, but also presents the upside of product sales that we can grow out exponentially. So hopefully that's given people a bit more of a flavour of RLG and what we do and what the growth opportunity is. And I'm open to any questions that may have come through.
Yeah, excellent. And I mean, you've got clearly a lot happening in there in the backgrounds. We've got one here from Ian Hopkins. He says, he's asking, is distribution of Indigenous health foods on your agenda? And I guess to follow up on that, I mean, is that, from my perspective, I'm sure people want to know, is that, if not, I guess, is there a reason for that?
We've looked at a number of products. A lot of it comes down to awareness, but it also has a natural alignment in regards to Chinese traditional medicines, because they're often looking for products that have a story behind them, that have a benefit. And so it's all about positioning and explaining that. And certainly with the Australian flavour that we've got, we're very open to helping and supporting those sorts of products to enter into the Chinese market. And I said, look, there is a natural affinity for natural ingredients that are beneficial to a consumer as well.
Yeah, nice. And then I guess if we go back to that other slide, you're obviously doing these investor conferences in China, some of the major cities. Is there, I mean, outside of China, is there any other countries that you want to be expanding into, doing these sort of presentations, getting more sophisticated investors on board? Because I guess that's what, your retail investors want to see, institutions or bigger investors coming on board to,
Yeah.
support the company.
Yeah, I think that what we find is that through Southeast Asia in general, if you look at Singapore, Hong Kong, there is a sort of enhanced knowledge and understanding of the region and what the opportunity is. So I think that is very much going to be a focus ongoing. So once we've launched into these markets and we're explaining the business to Chinese consumers, it naturally lends us to go into Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, etc.
Yeah, okay, lovely. And then I guess for yourself, I mean, you said you've been the managing director since 2019. What would you say, some of the biggest challenges you've been faced with are, and even at the moment, the challenges you've been faced with, and how you're going to combat that moving forward to get that benefit that shareholders are looking to get?
Yeah, well, I think like all businesses, we were impacted by COVID. We probably benefited initially because the Chinese market was the market that was still open while sort of Western markets were closed. Unfortunately, we then got caught between the oscillation of Western markets open, China open and closing. And I think realistically coming out of that, I think the anti-China sentiment as a whole hasn't really worked for us. It's good to see that the geopolitical environment certainly improving. One thing I can assure people of is that China is, and whilst the growth GDP might be slowing down, it's still significant in the world context.
Oh yeah,
Seeing consumerism in China, it is growing. Having just returned from there, you do see the amount of consumption that is going on. It is still a very big market, and I can tell you Australia and its products are held in very high regard. So we think there's a really good opportunity in China. And I'm even reading articles today from other people who might be called contrarians saying that the China market has been very oversold. China market represents a real opportunity, and I think that we've sort of stayed the course, and we're seeing the benefits, and we'll hopefully see further benefits coming through.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, obviously, shareholders, their main thing is the share price and hoping the share price goes up in value. Hence, probably why Ian's asking this next question. He's basically asking: is the investment from new sophisticated investors and just new investors in general, is that going to be diluting the share price for current investors? Or
no, we'll be seeking to present the investment opportunity on market to say, we want shareholders to come in on market and buy the stock.
Yeah, perfect. I think that's obviously fair for everyone, and keep current shareholders happy. And if there's the upside, they'll see that. We've got another one come through. Obviously, keep them coming through if you've got any of everyone. But when, Bryan, do you see the company breaking even? Obviously, after that, achieving steady quarter-on-quarter profits. Like another question that we just mentioned, the share price is not appreciating, and we're near lows. What do you see driving the share price? Over the year?
I think that consistent delivery of improving financial performance is what the market and shareholders are looking for. The design around what we're doing right now, as I said, look, if we look at the two directions we've come at this, is that we remove costs from the business and we're driving up profitability. And the reasons that we look at these sorts of numbers here is that sort of profit contribution takes us to break even. Beyond that, we then start to drive profitability. So if we can continue to grow those aspects of the business, that's our objective.
Yeah, I mean, I guess at the moment, especially with the higher interest rates, cutting costs is such a big thing. Obviously, an importance for you at the moment. Because again, there's, the landscape of your industry is also changing, especially going, you're not just predominantly in Australia, you're in China, and I imagine there's a lot of competition. What do you think, how is RLG differentiating themselves? And I guess, how are you going to position yourself to make sure that you are one of the best in the business?
I think having the track record we do, the types of brands that we work with, the references that we have, the achievements that we've got, the
Yeah.
fact that we are a publicly listed company here in Australia gives us a level of trust and credibility, both from clients and brands, but also then into the Chinese market and the channels that we work with. So I think that primarily it's our experience and our track record of delivery that puts us in good stead.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And I guess on your behalf, is there, what's your next key goals or key objectives? Because it's all about the little 1%ers, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. You can't click your fingers and things just get better, or things aren't going to happen. So what's your next little key milestones that are going to keep pushing things forward? Obviously, I imagine you guys have a yearly, 2-year, 3-year plan. But what's the next
Yeah,
steps?
I think that's probably set out in terms of the amount of time and effort that we're investing in market right now in China, in terms of both selecting the right distribution channels for our products and ensuring the alignment of interest.
Yeah.
So the ideal position for us is to find entities that can distribute our product, who also then see the benefit of what we do as an investment opportunity. So that, if they look at what our market cap is and what our value is and what it could be with the sales contributions they can bring, then I think that's an ideal formula for us.
Yeah, excellent. I think that makes sense. And I guess in regards to your perspective, and I guess I think another one's just come through. We'll focus on that one first. Where we go? Let's go and see. So the question is, which companies do you see as being your main competitors? How does your value proposition differ and set you apart? And do you see yourself moving into other jurisdictions? We've got a couple there, so just focus maybe one at a time. Can you see the questions, can't you, Bryan?
No, that's okay though. In terms of our positioning, I said, look, the market, if we look at China in particular, the market is so large and so diverse that nobody can compete across all of that. We see that there's plenty of market opportunity there for anyone. If we do our job well and we only do it in a few provinces or a few cities, then we will be completely successful. So there is, it's very hard to come up with direct competitors. In fact, groups that work in digital marketing and import and export, etc., we have open conversations with them. It's good to understand what's happening in the market. And yeah, that's probably not so much our concern. Our concern is about doing our job well and securing greater sales in the sectors that we're focusing on.
Yeah.
And sorry, the second part of the question?
How does your value proposition differ from competitors? I guess, like you said, there is so much competition, but you do focus on the main ones. It sort of wipes itself clear. But do you see yourself moving into other jurisdictions?
Yeah, exactly. We do, and the things that we're working on now, because our platforms, our solutions, and our capabilities are easily transferable. And when we've got agreement to source product and we understand the brand positioning and we understand the opportunity more broadly through the Asian market, then we do see that there are opportunities and they are things that we are actively looking at and working on right now. Yeah,
lovely. And I guess from the business side of things, how many? I guess when you look at you're in China, you're over here as well. Do you have people stationed in China in terms of BDMs or a sales team that is over there trying to build these relations? Because a lot of this is just client relations and building those networks.
Yeah, it is exactly right. We have a team on the ground here in Australia, and we also have a team on the ground in China. It's very important to be in the market. China's not a market you can simply fly into and fly out of and secure deals. That's why we're very much invested in that market. It's why I spend a lot of time there as well. We have senior people in our business that spend a lot of time in China working very closely with these distribution channels. And I think that is a key aspect of seeing the opportunity in market in real time.
in real time. Yeah, that makes sense. So, and you can sort of see how, I guess the Chinese economy is going as well. You can sort of see the increase in, well, I guess the fine detail is probably the right way of saying it, and the best areas to approach, rather than, if you're just here, you have to keep flying in and out most of the time. Now,
and that's what we say to our clients and say, look, you don't need to do that fly in, fly out. We are stationed there in China. We represent you. We're on the ground. We're doing day to day building your brand and trust.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's probably, again, it's a slow build, but it'll obviously go a long way. I've got another one coming here. Is your business scalable now? I.e., is there development spend required for each client being onboarded? And what is the time frame to onboard a client?
Yeah, certainly the whole solution is designed to be scalable, and that's the objective for us, is to build out product sales that can grow exponentially. So that's the ideal solution for us, and our solution provides for that. In terms of the typical launch phase for a brand is obviously, before you can sell a product, it's got to be in market. Because the expectation from a Chinese consumer is that if I order it today, I get it today, or worst case scenario, tomorrow. And so the launch time is a typical phase for us is months 1 to 3, building out online awareness and positioning and marketing the product for when it lands. Months 3 to 6 become some testing and trial orders. Month 6 to 12, we really build out the online, and we start to look for distribution channels as well. So that's a typical market entry plan.
Yeah, okay. So it's a methodical process. Make sure it's all done correctly. Obviously.
Correct.
Yeah, lovely. Well, I guess there's no more questions coming in. Is there any final, points you want to make, or anything you want to sort of add just before we end the webinar there? And I guess it is recorded, so anyone who's missed a couple of things or wants to rewatch it, it will be recorded, and you'll be able to rewatch that. But is there any last notes you want to put in there, Bryan?
Probably just the note that we are very actively building the business right now, and we expect to deliver those results over the coming months. And we're quite accepting that shareholders and investors may like to sit and watch, but it really will be up to us to deliver and demonstrate the benefits of our methods, our systems, and our techniques for selling into this market. It does represent a great opportunity. I said, we think we're in the right space. We sell food, beverage, health and wellness products into a growing and strong market.
Excellent.
So we provide that diversified access as an investment.
It sounds like you're doing the right things, and things are always building in the pipeline by the sounds of it. But again, I want to just thank you, Bryan, for coming over. I guess using a video time you had free, presenting what you've got, explaining a few things, answering a few questions. It's always a pleasure to meet someone new, and it sort of broaden my horizons on a few ASX stocks as well. But I just want to, like I said, let everyone know that it is recorded. You can go onto our website, sharewise.com.au. That will be there, or our YouTube channel. Bryan will also get a copy of the recording. I'm sure it'll be on his socials, and he'll be doing whatever he would like to do with that. But thank you, everyone, for showing up and showing your support, and thanks for the questions. But Bryan, it was a pleasure to meet you, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you, Harry.
Lovely.